If you have like kind of what we call gluten intolerance or non-celiac gluten intolerance, that's a thing. A lot of people have that. Some people have asymptomatic celiac. That's weird, right? Well, they don't have strong symptoms, but they do have strong levels of inflammation, and they have been confirmed through their testing that they're celiac. How is that even a thing? Well, because the GI system is vast, right? So there's a lot of surface area there. So maybe a lot of the surface area is presenting with normal bowel movements, but you are harboring inflammation. You remember the surface area of the GI system is the size of a pickleball court. And so if you're trying to study how the body is trending with inflammation, you quickly get to the GI system pretty quickly. So anyway, if you've got some type of chronic inflammatory thing, that can drive things in the cardiovascular system, that can drive things in the nervous system, and it can drive things in the immune system, right? So we always, when somebody presents with an autoimmune problem, we do the same type of workup on the GI system to see what's going on. Now, that situation, because if they don't have strong GI symptoms that tells them that there's a problem, now they have to be a little bit more careful, especially if they're trending antibody results and they have this event with inflammatory foods, the antibody levels will go up. And this has been demonstrated with studies with Hashimoto's, with TPO and thyroglobulin antibody. The exposure to gluten will increase the antibody, and you can see the antibodies trending down as that person is staying away from gluten. So that's a really difficult scenario, because then that doesn't play into the conversation about, can I really have sourdough? That person cannot. I wouldn't touch that at all, because they're not having GI symptoms, but really they're going to pay the price with an antibody response on an organ system, right? So it is really difficult sometimes, because you have to consider with somebody what's at stake. So how inflamed do they get? How quickly does that inflammation happen? If it happens to be celiac, they might have that happens with a crumb of gluten really quickly, and it'll lead them to the ER later that day, right? So they can't have sourdough at all. It doesn't matter. There's still gluten and gliadin. There's still proteins in that bread. That's why it's delicious and lovely and not falling apart, right? So the sourdough doesn't directly cancel out the problem at hand for that person.